So today's vlog is a little bit about how to save a little bit of money when you're cosplaying. If you've cosplayed for any length of time, then you've probably realized cosplay can be quite an expensive hobby if you let it. But there are certain things you can do to save a little bit of money when you're cosplaying, one of which is reusing cosplay pieces for multiple costumes. It's a really good way to save money, and it saves time too. So when I say reusing cosplay pieces, I don't mean like reusing an entire costume as somebody else. That can be done, but it's a little more work. What I mean is like using the same pair of pants for two characters, or maybe the same knife or whatever prop. You know, you can edit just a little bit to be another character. It saves you a lot of money and a lot of time if you can just use a lot of the same pieces for multiple characters. Of course, this only works if you're not completely married to the details of the costume. You have to be a little bit vague when you're making costumes so that you can change over pieces from one costume to another. For example, I use my Loki pants. I use them for Loki. I also use them as my Spock pants. I think there's somebody else I use them for, but I can't think of who right now. And obviously they're a little different than Loki's pants because Loki had like little designs down his pants. I just use a pair of plain black pants because I already had them for Spock, so that way it saved me money. I didn't have to have another pair of pants for Loki and for Spock. I could just use the same pair for both of them. If you leave out some of the minor details, it's going to be noticed a lot less than if you put on the details and then try to pass them off to somebody else. So by leaving the black pants plain, I can use them for both Spock and Loki, even though they don't have the Loki details. If I put the Loki details on them, it'd be very difficult to use them for Spock because then they'd have the little crisscrosses and it just wouldn't look right for Spock. So if you leave off the little details, be a little bit vague in your cosplay construction, then you can bend the rules a little bit and use multiple pieces for multiple characters, which saves time and money. Another one, a big one, is wigs, because wigs can often be the most expensive part of a costume. If you can use one wig for multiple costumes, you know, it may not match exactly to the character, you know, you don't have to completely style it. If you can just kind of be a little bit, again, vague in your character, it's going to be recognizable enough to be the character, but it won't be exact, so you can use it for multiple characters. My brown wig, I use that for several characters. I use that for Scarlet Witch, I use it for Princess Leia, I use it for Wonder Woman, I use it to go with my Star Trek Scant, and I'm also going to be using it for another character coming up from the Dragon Age video game, so look for that in a couple weeks. So that's 5 different costumes that I use the wig for. The wig cost me $50, so when you divide it out among 5 costumes, that's $10 a costume. That's quite the savings, rather than needing a different wig for each of those costumes. Yes, it looks a little different than some of the wigs that I would need, but I'm okay with not being exact because it saves me so much money and so much time. I don't have to style it all the time, except for Princess Leia because I have to do the little cinnamon buns. But she's really the only one. I just use the plain wig for them, and I get 5 costumes out of one wig, and I'll probably use it for even more down the road, but these are 5 that I know of, so right now the wig costs me about $10 a costume. So the more you can reuse cosplay pieces, the more money you'll save, and the more time you'll save.